mes amis. Bienvenue à Avignon, en France. Actually, not Avignon, though. I am currently in a little town called Rémoulin. It's on the banks of the Gordon River, or Gordon River, which is downriver from the Pont Du Gard. If you've ever seen that, it's a remnant of one absolutely huge Roman aqueduct. And it doubled as a bridge when it goes over the rivers. But way up in Alès, there is a spring, and they started to build this aqueduct, this Roman aqueduct, and it goes all the way to Nimes, which is, I think, like around 120 kilometers, which is a really good distance for an aqueduct. And what's amazing, I'll show you some footage of it. What is amazing is per kilometer, the gradient with the angle is 25 centimeters. So, I mean, it's barely downhill. But that's kind of the point, right? Because you've got a long distance to go, so you want to make sure that you make the most of it. And all it takes, like water always finds, down. So all it takes is a little gradient. It's an amazing place. I've seen pictures of it. It's like on everybody's bucket list in southern France. It's hard to get to if you don't have a car, which I'll get to in a second. But I'm very, very glad I went. And I had no idea just how huge this thing was. I did manage to get the drone out, which was really cool. And I got some great shots. I can't wait to get home and take a look at it. But it's from the 1st century. It was built by the Romans to cover this whole area, and over the years, its usefulness decreased as they diverted water to like farmland in the area, and then eventually, the technology changes, right? And so they've left this as this huge bridge, but because of its kind of obscure area, normally those bridges, those big, like even amphitheaters, anything Roman that's big, with a lot of like marble and limestone, it used to get, all that stuff used to get stolen and repurposed, right? And for whatever reason, probably because it's in this obscure area, it remained there. And you get to walk on it, you get to cross over. There's some cool lookout points that I found. And of course, it's a bit of a vacation spot, or a, like almost a beach spot for families. I saw a lot of people. It was 22 degrees this afternoon, and I saw a lot of people actually swimming in the river, which is pretty amazing. But it really, really reinforced the idea of how hilly and mountainous this area is, to my detriment, because I did go on quite an adventure today, and I think I'm going to save the whole story for its own video. But the short version is that I found some trails, and I wanted to take advantage, and was like, yeah, let's see where this goes. And I got myself into one of those typical Preston adventures of like, is this a good idea? Let's see how far this trail goes and where it goes off to. And well, Google says there's a trail, so maybe there is. And I wound up climbing a big mountain. Turns out the elevation was, I can't remember whether it was, I think it was 100 meters, or just under or just over 100 meters, which is what, like 300 feet? And those mountains, I found myself in those mountains, and realizing the trail that I was supposed to take didn't exist, and I had to find another way home. And like I said, it's like, it's like what I used to always say, like everything's an adventure. It's always an adventure. And there's some way, if there's some way to make it into an unnecessary adventure, I'm going to do it. And I did. But the strange thing is, and this is what's so funny, I'll get into that whole story some other time and show the pictures and everything, because it's really cool. I was up high. Wasn't going to climb 3/4 of a mountain. But here's the thing. I mentioned yesterday that they canceled my trains to Nimes, right? So I had no plan for today. And I did have this side plan of coming to the Gard, Pont du Gard. So I had this plan to come here, but it required taking a bus. And I don't trust buses. And I don't, like, you know, this is when I don't feel like a grown-up, because oftentimes I worry because buses don't seem very reliable. They're like, you know, late often. Sometimes they just decide not to make certain stops. Sometimes there's construction and they move things. I don't know when to push the little stop button. I don't know where the stops are. It's in a foreign language. I really have to pay attention, which isn't my strong suit sometimes. And I really can't overthink it. And that's the important part, because once I start worrying about it and overthinking, oh, forget about it, right? Like it really gets, you know. So I went and I researched it. I figured it out. And the strange thing is there's only like 3 buses per day out here. One of them is like 8:30, the other one's 11, and then like a 4 o'clock or something. And on the way back, I'm waiting for the 6:40, as a matter of fact, so I got like 20 minutes. There's this bus and then one that I think it's like 10 o'clock or something. So I need to get on this bus. But the problem is if I leave at 11, I get there around 12, I've got 6 hours and 40 minutes to kill. Is that enough to be there? Well, if you go on a little adventure that takes like 5 hours, yeah, it's not a problem. So in a weird way, even though things did not work out, they kind of worked out. I'm tired. I got to see so much of the countryside that I wouldn't have from pretty high up. And I got to visit in this little town, because this is the closest bus stop to where I ended up. So that is how you turn a day that you didn't have anything to do into you know, a stressful adventure, getting really tired, and then hoping that like, I'm crossing my fingers. I'm hoping that you'll see this video, because I have to stand at a bus stop and I'm not 100% sure it's the right bus stop. Like, you know, the bus stop going this way and then the bus stop going that way. If I stand at the wrong spot, this bus is just going to drive by. And as I was talking, the bus on the other way just drove by. So it's 6:20. I'm going to head over to the bus stop and just hang out there just in case the bus is early, because otherwise I'm here for another like 4 hours, you know. And the worst part, like as a side note, because of the way the French restaurants work, you know, they open up, you know, maybe 11, they shut down at like 1:30, and then they don't open till like 7, 8, 9. So I couldn't find anything to eat, like and there was nothing for me to do in this town for the like hour and a half that I had, other than make this video. So I wound up having like a Perrier and a Snickers. I'm so glad I reminded myself to eat breakfast this morning, because I'm hungry now. Not as much as I was before the Snickers, but still, I'm hungry. So I'm gonna hop on that bus. I'm gonna go to Avignon. I'm gonna go find something to eat. And then I'll show you guys this video. I hope you guys are on your own adventures. I hope you guys are doing well. I'm obviously doing well, about to be well fed. And, you know, please go on your own adventures, because it's a lot of fun. Even though it might not seem like it in the middle of it. I'm kidding. It's great. It's all great. So with that, there'll be another video tomorrow. If you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe. You don't want to miss them. And a like, a comment, a message, any interaction, I so appreciate, because I know it means that you're watching, but it also helps distribute the video a little better. So I appreciate it from two sides. So with that, I'll talk to you tomorrow. À demain. Au revoir. Good night, everybody.